because the gentleman that is on my right hand side is actually a guy that is from Texas. And from what I understand, I didn't actually know this dude. I don't think I've met him. I've met a lot of dudes, but Texas is swarm full of artists. It's swarm full of promoters. It is swarm full of just people that are doing a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think they said it's like the second largest market in the United States of America, which is a cool thing. But me and this brother have not actually crossed paths, and I've been in the clubs and stuff like that, have not met him, so I can't speak about him from a personal standpoint, but I will kind of tell you guys a little bit about this story, and we got a couple of videos to show you guys, okay? Now, from what I understand, this gentleman, and his name is Darryl Stinnette, which is D-A-R-R-Y-L, and Stinnette is spelled S-T-I-N-N-E-T-T-E, just the way it is in the title, and he goes by the name of Lil Pooh. Sorry, I didn't mean to blow in the mic like that. L-I-L-P-O-O-H, Lil Pooh, okay? And like I said, I'm not familiar with his music. I've never had anybody send me his music. He hadn't sent me his music. I hadn't ran across it yet. So I can't speak on whether his music is, you know, good or not or whatever. But nonetheless, what he was doing and what a lot of artists do is they'll take their music and they'll go to other cities and they'll try to spread the word about their music. As you guys know, when I met Shauna and when I met a couple of other artists that I've actually told you guys about, like what they do is they go to different cities, different states, and they meet with DJs, they meet with radio people, producers, and stuff like that, because they're trying to get their music heard by as many people as possible. If they like the music, they'll give them the music like, here, you guys play this, put this in your rotation or whatever the case is. So what he did was he ended up going to California, okay? So he was in Oakland, in the Bay Area, and he was at a club. And he was promoting his music, and apparently something popped off. So I haven't got the full story about that, but let's see if we can't dive into a little bit of what happened while he was there and on his way trying to get back to Texas, okay? Now, the California Highway State Patrol is looking for the gunman responsible for a fatal shooting early Monday morning on the lower deck of the Bay Bridge, where a rap concert promoter, which is what they're referring to him as, Lil Pooh, was killed in his SUV while driving with two passengers who were also injured. So maybe we'll be able to get their story and hear what they have to say about this at some point in time. All that's been publicly revealed is that the suspect vehicle could be a gray or silver sedan or SUV, said CHP officer Pedro Santiago. Now, the San Francisco Medical Examiner's Office identified the driver of a rented 2018 Mitsubishi SUV as 31-year-old Darryl Stinnette of Mesquite, Texas. And Mesquite is very nearby the DFW area, Mesquite, Plano, Arlington, Grand Prairie. I was out there in Grand Prairie yesterday, so shout out to them, you know, my friends out there. And all of that area is very, very close to each other. Like it's all within about a 15, 20 minute span, depending on the traffic, maybe 30 minutes at the most. But to me, it's all like super, super close. Okay. Now, Stinnette was killed at about 2:35 a.m. on the bridge, where the eastbound lanes were closed for more than 5 hours during the California Highway Patrol investigation. So law enforcement sources told KTVU they have information that leads to a possible motive. Now, sources said that Stinnette and his passengers had been at a club in San Francisco before the shooting, which obviously I'm assuming was probably to perform and promote his music. Another thing that he could have been doing was also hosting like a party, and sometimes that's an easy way for you to be able to not only get some money while you're out of state, but to also be able to promote the music that you're trying to get out there. Okay. Now, Stinnette was a rap concert promoter from Texas who had just put on an event Sunday night at the Harlot, which is spelled Harlot. I'll spell it again because I keep getting tongue tied. Harlot, which is a nightclub in Minna Street, south of Market. Law enforcement sources say that there was an altercation that may have led to the shooting on the Bay Bridge, which is definitely what we want to know about. Law enforcement sources say that the altercation that may have led to the shooting on the Bay Bridge What that fight was about has not been revealed yet. So KTVU has learned that there was another shooting on Minute Street about 90 minutes earlier that San Francisco police are investigating. Excuse me. So sources say at about 1 a.m., two men inside a white Mercedes fired multiple shots outside the Harlot nightclub, but it's unclear who their target was. Now, the Mercedes then crashed into a freeway pillar and police arrested those two men. So maybe we'll get some answers about that pretty soon. So sources say the timing and location suggest that there's a link between the two shootings, which I 100% agree with that. Okay? Now, reached by phone on Tuesday morning in Texas, Stinnette's mother, whose name is Toni Barnes, which is Toni, and Barnes spelled traditionally Barnes, told KTVU her son was the sweetest man and had been in San Francisco for business. Again, probably making money. So her son went by the nickname Pooh, something she called him as a baby because he was such a fat little one. Barnes said with a warm chuckle, "He was my Pooh Bear." That was the name everybody knew him by. So some friends didn't even know what his real name was. And she said that he was so sweet and humble as a kid. And if anyone really knows my son, he was the sweetest, kindest person and always respectful. So his father, which is good, hashtag we're the fathers, here's a father. So the father, whose name is Darryl Stinnette Sr., said his son had two boys ages 10 years old, and then he had a newborn baby. So he's a father of a newborn and a 10-year-old. So he was also engaged to be married, which is a positive thing. I guess it was a positive thing. So neither parents knew neither parents knew who he was with or much about what happened, but they knew that he traveled to San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Georgia to promote his music. I was right. From a DJ standpoint, I know this. No official authority has called either parent, but Barnes said she learned of her son's death through her nephew who saw it on social media, which is a messed up way to hear about losing a loved one, man. It's crazy. Now, Barnes added that her son had never been in trouble before and was never in anything that was going on. As for dealing with her son's sudden death, Barnes says she watches the news all the time and cries when she sees other people's children have been killed. Like I say, here at So Do You Dig, we're advocates for children first. I 100% feel her on that because this is the type of stuff that we pay attention to, especially when things kind of fly under the radar, when we feel like some of these things should be getting some more national attention and they don't. So I feel her on that. Now, let's keep going. It's just more difficult when the news is about her own child. And she quotes this: To hear you lose your child in a senseless killing, it's a totally different feeling," she said. "But God has a reason for everything and a plan for everything. I do have faith that and Pooh has faith. He's in the greatest hands he can ever be in right now. I see him on that pedestal and I know he's okay." And that's from the mother speaking. Two other drivers on the Bay Bridge got caught up in the gunfire. The driver of the Porsche and Raul Lopez, who was driving along until his car was clipped. And I think I have a video of him, and he'll be speaking here in a moment. Even though his car got damaged, Lopez wasn't injured, and he ended up helping one of Stinnette's two passengers, both of whom survived and were taken to the hospital. And as of Monday night, a spokesman for San Francisco General Hospital said one of the passengers was treated and released for his injuries, and the other passenger is in fair condition. The guy was bleeding, Lopez described one of the victims. He was like, "Can you help me tighten my shirt?" Which, obviously he's trying to turn it into like a makeshift tourniquet to stop the bleeding. So Lopez also described what it sounded like on the bridge, and he said this. He said, "It was like 5 pops, like fireworks. But they weren't fireworks. I see an SUV getting to my car and hitting me," he said. So, and apparently there is a GoFundMe set up. A lot of GoFundMes out there. Thank you very much, Aganda Smith, for the birthday wishes. Appreciate you guys. And oh my goodness, dude, I don't understand. Okay. I got to tell you guys this. I'll say this without giving too much detail. I have a family member, who I'm not going to say who, that lost her daughter. And she set up a GoFundMe for like $2,500 and reached that goal, I believe, within like a week, maybe less, maybe like a couple of, no. I lied. It was like 2 days. In 2 days, they raised that money. It was $2,500. I want you guys to take a guess. Let's play a game a little bit. Let's have a little fun tonight, because this story is kind of grim. Let's have a little fun tonight, guys. For this grown man who was about to be married and who was a father of a 10-year-old and a newborn and has a mother and a father, I want you guys to tell me, if he was out there getting money and all of this good stuff, I want you guys to tell me, take a guess. How much do you think that the family is asking for in the GoFundMe? Thank you, Desi, for the birthday wishes also. Appreciate that. Pandorian said Bill Cosby's son and Michael Jordan's father were murdered on